Teofimo Lopez is the most frustrating boxer I have ever watched. Last Thursday, he defeated Jamaine Ortiz on Top Rank Boxing in a very lackluster performance. Teofimo Lopez seems to have a focus problem. Hey, what's that over there, squirrel? Basically, he doesn't pay attention. He's focused too much on things outside of the ring. He's sitting there checking Keyshawn Davis at a presser trying to be, why are you talking about me? Like, bro, you have Jamaine Ortiz, a guy who brought your best win to a very close decision. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to say Lomachenko looked better against Jamaine Ortiz than Teofimo Lopez did. Now, the focus problem really probably comes with age. Teofimo Lopez is very young. Actually, I'm about to pull up how old he is because he's incredibly young. I'm never good at this, guys. He is what? 26 years old. Oh my gosh. Like, he seems like this young man, but 26 isn't young in boxing anymore. This isn't 2020. We're 4 years past that almost. That Lomachenko win, you know. It's so weird to me how Teofimo Lopez looks great against Josh Taylor, Vasyl Lomachenko. Who else has he got? Richard Comey he looked amazing against. But when he fights Sandor Martin, Jamaine Ortiz, George Kambosos Jr., he looks like he's just trying to put on a show. Now, there's a lot of conversation about this fight to where everybody said Jamaine Ortiz won that fight. I don't know if I buy that. I listened to the fight with the sound off, and I feel like a lot of people are having a hard time with the commentary giving their scorecard for Jamaine Ortiz. I thought Teofimo came forward better. You know, obviously he was frustrated with the movement of Jamaine Ortiz, but he landed the better shots, though Jamaine got his shots of his own. I understand why some people think that Jamaine Ortiz won this fight, and I don't blame you for thinking that, but I had Teofimo winning this fight all night long. I mean, it was a very close fight for sure, but you can't cry robbery. I know everybody wants to see the underdog win. That's always the big story. You know, Cinderella Man, the whole movie, the whole premise of the whole story of James Braddock is based off of the underdog coming from nothing with the Great Depression, fighting Max Baer, a guy who killed a man in the ring, and he's a smaller guy fighting a heavyweight champion, and he wins it. I get it. I totally get that. But Teofimo won that fight. He won more rounds. He boxed better. He came forward. That's all you need to do to win a fight. Box better, win more rounds, come forward. That's what the judges want to see. That's what you do. That's what you win. So it was apparent, though, that Teofimo Lopez was, like, frustrated with the movement of Ortiz. So Ortiz is like, hey, I'm going to fight southpaw. Because Ortiz, I wanted to say Jamaine Ortiz is a switch hitter, like a real switch hitter. But he fought southpaw most of this fight, which is weird because Teofimo Lopez is usually good against the southpaw. Obviously, you got Josh Taylor and you got Vasyl Lomachenko, two fights where he looked phenomenal in. But here he struggled. And I think size was something to do with it when comparing to the Lomachenko fight. And also, I think we're putting a little too much credit into the Josh Taylor fight, who hasn't looked good in his last few fights. But Teofimo did get frustrated with the movement, talking to the crowd and everything, and the ref, and it's just that goes back to that focus problem that he has. And actually, I kind of like the adjustment to where he got tired of going forward, so he started backing up and made Jamaine Ortiz come to him. That was a good adjustment. Now, Jamaine Ortiz usually got the best of those situations, which is why Teofimo stopped doing that. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think Teofimo Lopez won this fight. Now, he brings a lot of good things to the table against a southpaw, and when he's faster and bigger than you, he thrives. I mean, obviously you should if you're faster and bigger than someone, right? You should be the better fighter. Even if you're not as good of a boxer, you can use those gifts to your advantage, your length, your speed, and all that, because being faster than someone is just being faster than someone. There's no, he's on 1% faster than me, I can still keep up. No, you're just faster. You get beat to the punch every single time. So, when we're looking at the Lomachenko fight, Teofimo Lopez is fighting a guy coming up in weight, and he's actually killing himself to go down, which is why he never rematched George Kambosos. This fight, Teofimo Lopez didn't have the size advantage, and Jamaine Ortiz was comparable in speed. Now, obviously, I just said speed is, either a yes or no thing, but Jamaine Ortiz looked just as fast as Teofimo, especially with his hands. So, but when it comes to fighting southpaws, usually Lopez looks great. This time he didn't. This time, Jamaine Ortiz's weapons looked better than what he had to offer. And it was like, oh, what is going on here? But we did see some of those things that Teofimo Lopez was good at. Obviously, the uppercut across the body. He throwing the right hand across the body as Jamaine Ortiz pivots, puts Teofimo Lopez in a good spot because he can land these power shots in these transitional states. Obviously, when someone pivots, you have to follow, and when you're following, you kind of just, you're open to punch. I talked about that in my Ilia Topuria article when we're talking about him fighting Josh Emmett in the UFC, to where Topuria, who's actually a really competent boxer, I know this is a boxing podcast, but he pivots out, and then Emmett was forced to follow. So how Teofimo does this, and that's the whole premise of like Vasyl Lomachenko's game, who's like the best at the pivot. He creates the angles and you follow him. What Jamaine Ortiz worked out in that Lomachenko fight, and what he also worked out here, was that if I pivot with them, I'm good. So Teofimo, what he worked out in the Vasyl Lomachenko fight was, I'm going to throw this uppercut across my body where they're going, where they're pivoting to, and it lands. As a matter of fact, late in the fight, it landed and staggered Jamaine Ortiz back. Now, one thing that he heralded for is that leaping lead hook that he throws, and this time Jamaine Ortiz was just too fast. He was too squirrely, and he kept jumping himself out of position. So, yeah, kind of sucked because he kept throwing himself out of position. And I can see a situation where a boxer like Jamaine Ortiz, and he did this a couple times, where Jamaine Ortiz would leap under that leaping hook, or he would dip under that leaping hook, and he would pivot in, let him settle, and then tee off. He did it especially against the ropes. Obviously, the framing, pushing with the arm, wasn't as effective this fight because Jamaine Ortiz is so big. And then obviously the hand fighting, Ortiz got to where he was framing with his hand, trying to hand fight, and Teofimo was slapping that down. So that was all things I like to see. And then again, obviously, Lopez got tired of coming forward, and with Teofimo Lopez getting tired of him like moving laterally, he said, all right, how do I stop you from moving laterally? I quit coming forward, so you're going to come to me. Now, for Jamaine Ortiz, I was very impressed by this guy. I was impressed by him against Lomachenko, and I thought to myself in that Lomachenko fight, like, yeah, Lomachenko, he's obviously the Ukraine issue going on, the war down there. He hadn't been in camp. He hadn't fought for a while. I get it. You're not going to look your best. But then, like, after I watched it a second time, I'm like, Jamaine Ortiz is actually really good. And he showed in this fight, too. He's really good. Again, I don't think he won the fight. And he said he thought he did his best. And that's all you can ask for. I think Jamaine Ortiz will be champ one day. You've got all these fighters out there at 140. And, there's... Yeah, Regis isn't the champ anymore. Devin Haney beat him. I'm trying to think, like, you got Haney, you got Rolly Romero, you got Teofimo. Yeah, he could beat Rolly, man. Oh, and you got Subriel Matias. Nope, that ain't happening. That's the boogeyman. Teofimo Lopez called Subriel Matias the weakest champion, the softest champion in his division, and he don't want that smoke because Subriel would that'd be a good fight actually. But yeah, I think Jamaine Ortiz, he'd beat Josh Taylor. I'm looking at the rankings here. Richard Hitchens, that's a good fight. Obviously, we got Garcia and Devin Haney fighting. He could beat Ryan Garcia. He definitely could beat Sandor Martin. Be a decent fight. Yeah, man. Like, if he can get I don't know if he'll be able to get a shot at it. Here's the thing, like, Rolly Romero is a vulnerable champion. A lot of people see him as that, and rightfully so. But is he actually going to take that Jamaine Ortiz fight? He's not even booked right now, is he? Rolly, is he booked for something? He's been talking. Oh yeah, he's fighting Isaac Cruz. Yeah, he might not be champion much longer. Isaac's gonna beat him. Ugh. But yeah, so he had his good showing against Lomachenko, and then Jamaine Ortiz comes out against Teofimo Lopez, who beat Lomachenko, and he looks very good. He has a real nice pivot, and he steps through, so he'll throw the cross and he'll step through to orthodox because he fought out of southpaw mainly in this fight. He steps into orthodox, and then he fired a 1-2. He did that a couple times this fight, and he looked really good doing it. I'm really kind of, I like Jamaine Ortiz, and I think he's one of the scarier fights in the division, the highest risk with the lowest rewards, because he doesn't have a belt, he doesn't have a win over Teofimo or Vasyl Lomachenko, never beat Prograis. Garcia's not going to fight him. He has no good wins, really, except for Jamel Herring, which that's a really good win, actually. But, Herring was, out on his way out, or for the first time, because he kind of is back now. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a fan of Ortiz, man. I think I'd like to watch him fight more. I'm probably going to go back and look at some of his stuff. I might make a video on it. Who knows? But yeah, but the whole talk of the fight is obviously beforehand. Bud Crawford, or Terrence Crawford, I should say. I don't like calling him Bud because that's kind of weird. Terrence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez has said he wants to fight Terrence Crawford. After that performance, Terrence talked trash. Keep your name out my mouth. Worry about who's in front of you, because that was ugly. Ooh, that was so bad. And honestly, dude, he's fought two guys that are very technical. Teofimo Lopez is. He fought Vasyl Lomachenko, which he won by a round. Let's see, was it by one round? No, they had some weird scorecard. I thought the 12th round won that fight, and Teofimo Lopez won the 12th round. So in my mind, he won by a round. And then he has the Josh Taylor win. No, I'm sorry, the Jamaine Ortiz win. Let me fix that. So he has those two wins. Against Lomachenko, he has the size advantage, and Lomachenko's almost won that fight. He come back, especially in the second half of that fight, he come roaring back and almost won. And then Jamaine Ortiz, when he didn't have that size advantage, he struggled. He didn't, the speed, all of that kind of played into the hands of his opponents. Terrence Crawford's bigger than him. He might not be faster than him, but he's a better boxer than him. Keep Teofimo Lopez away from Terrence Crawford. Full stop. Keep him away, because good gosh, Bud would destroy him, especially after that. Then again, though, who knows? When Teofimo was fighting Vasyl Lomachenko, Richard Comey, or Josh Taylor, he looks like a world beater. He looks like, he might be able to hang with Bud. But then you watch Sandor Martin, George Kambosos, Jamaine Ortiz. You're like, what, is this guy good or is he not? Because I'm confused. I can't tell if he's good or not. That's just how it seems with Teofimo Lopez, He had the size advantage against Lomachenko, which he used to bully him around the ring and push him around. Couldn't do that against Ortiz. Against Jamaine Ortiz, he would push him, and Jamaine Ortiz was still right there. You gonna push Bud Crawford around? You gonna push Terrence Crawford around? Teofimo, no, you're not. And if he struggles with the technicality of Jamaine Ortiz using southpaw and switching occasionally, what's he going to do when Terrence Crawford decides to fight a round in southpaw, a round in orthodox, a round in southpaw, another round in southpaw, and just keep him on his toes? Terrence Crawford should absolutely take that fight. Because, what's Ring Magazine's pound-for-pound ratings? Because that's another good win for Terrence. See, Crawford is number 1. He wants to fight number 4, Canelo E. Teofimo's number 10. So, yeah, if I'm Terrence Crawford, I'm taking that fight all day, because he got one loss to Kambosos, and he didn't look that great against Jamaine Ortiz. I'm like, yo, let's book this fight. I'm going to beat the brakes off of you. And he would, too. He would. Terrence would kill him. He would kill him. Yeah. So, last thing I want to talk about is Keyshawn Davis. Obviously, now he's, 10-0. He beat Jose Pedraza last night. Pedraza's a good fighter. Yeah, he's 10-0 with 7 knockouts. And I really like Keyshawn Davis, but I don't know how much I'm sold on him. He scored a 6-round knockout. And, that's all fine and dandy. But, some things, he just doesn't quite pass the eye test. So let's start from the top. Like, Jose Pedraza is a good win. Guy's a former champion. I mean, he doesn't have the best record, but he's like super experienced. 29-6-1, 14 knockouts, so he's not going to knock him out. You obviously had the draw with Richard Comey. I'm going back to see Javier Molina. Jose Zepeda, that 10-round fight was a decent fight. Obviously lost to Lomachenko. Tank Davis beat him. Stephen Smith. I don't know, man. He's experienced. That's what I'm getting from this guy. Pedraza's good, man. And he came out, he fought aggressive at first, but Davis is like really good, man. He's really, really good. He's very patient, and when he smells blood in the water, he really goes for it. And I'm like, that's what I like. That's what I like, He really goes for broke, and when he's starting to tee off on you, it is vicious because his hands are fast. He has real good hand speed. He's very patient, though, to get to that moment in the fight. But when he smells blood, combinations come out, and it's great. Another thing that Keyshawn Davis is really good is when he's shoulder to shoulder in the pocket, dirty boxing, he gets that uppercut. So he'll be almost shoulder to shoulder, chest to chest. Then he'll create space, and that right uppercut comes right up the middle. And you just don't see it coming because, your head's on the side of his, or it's in his chest or something. And he did that to Jose Pedraza all night. A couple things about Keyshawn Davis, though, that kind of bother me. I wouldn't say that's detrimental to his game, but when he punches, his elbows are really flared out, and you want to keep them nice and tight. So if this guy's got power like this early on, imagine if he actually punched right, kept the kinetic chain aligned, blah blah. I don't want to sound too woo-woo talking about kinetic chains and what, but you know what I mean. He'd be so good, man. He'd be so good. No, but he's fast, but he's not the fastest in the division. You got, Lomachenko's in this division, and Shakur's in this division. Maybe even Tank. William Zepeda, Frank Martin, Yoshino, Isaac Cruz is moving up. Kambosos got a fight. Yeah, dude, this is a win, and he needs another good win before he gets to a real title shot. But another thing I really kind of throws me off about Keyshawn Davis is that wide stance he's got. He's very lanky, very, very long, and I don't see him at 135 that long. I think he's going to be 145, 140, 145, 7. Once he fills out in frame, because he's a young man still. How old is he? Because he's not too old. 24. Goodness. Think about it. Teofimo Lopez fought the pound-for-pound champion when he was younger than Keyshawn Davis. And Keyshawn looks great, man. Oh, he's so good. Obviously, he's getting the slow build. I'm still not quite sold. He didn't quite pass the eye test for me yet. He's definitely not ready for the top of 125 or 135 with Shakur, Tank, and Lomachenko. You got William Zepeda also. He's definitely not ready for the top of that yet. But I don't know if he's long for 135. He might go win a belt once one becomes vacant for some reason or another. Or actually, I think all of them are vacant, aren't they? I gotta go look because I was just looking at it earlier. Let's see. There it is. Haney. Yeah. So IBF is open. He could fight for that here soon. WBC is Shakur, Haney, WA World. Get him out of here. Javante, and then obviously you got Lomachenko and Kambosos fighting for a vacant title too. So I don't know if he's ready for the top of 135 yet, but he's still young. He's still very, very young, and it's going to take a lot for him to get better. But he's got the skill sets, man. He's got the hand speed. He's got the power. He knows how to put combinations together. He's got these very good tools that you want to see in a young boxer. And I really think that he's probably the future of this sport for American boxers, at least. Keyshawn's very good. Very good. I could see him and Tank fighting in about 4 years. Whoa, that's a fight. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. I don't know what the schedule's like. I have to go back and look at it. for next week, obviously we haven't had much going on. Oh, it's been actually kind of rough with the little bit we had Jaime Munguia the other day, which was really cool. A round of action. It was a tale of 2 first-round knockouts, obviously. So yeah, I'll look at the schedule. Obviously, whatever the next big fight is. I wasn't talking about Conor Ben because I'm just not sold quite on him too much, to be honest with you. He's not that good. We're lying to each other here. But yeah, so I'll catch you guys on the next fight card. If you're in the UFC, we'll have Joe Pyfer and Jack Hermanson. We'll be talking about that along with the other fights on the card, Feely's on it, Lone Look Boom Me, and all that. So that's it. Follow me everywhere. Drop a sub. It's the best. I like talking fights. And I got a cool video coming with BYB. Dada 5000's promotion, bare knuckle, in a triangle. We're doing a new Fight Finders episode coming out next week. So yeah, I'm out, guys. Later.